Hello everybody, Joe the Lawyer here, and thanks for watching. Hey guys, so recently I released a big video. It was pretty big, like 3.5 hours, and it was my deep dive into all aspects of the OSR, like every aspect of it, every little part of it. And it's gotten a great reception, but I realized that, 3.5 hours is pretty big for most people to sit there, even though it's broken up into chapters. So I had an idea, maybe I'll just put this out in pieces. That each main part has a separate piece, and that way people can sort of digest it at their own pace. I don't have to worry about listening to a big long video, essentially. And by listen, I mean because I just talk and show these cool black and white art pictures from old school D&D, so I don't have to watch or anything. But I thought it might be a good idea because there's a lot of people recently who got into the OSR, or were looking to get into the OSR, and they came from a 5e experience, and maybe they watched some YouTubers like Matt Mercer, Matt Colville, GDD, and and that's their experience, and they're hearing about this OSR thing from the sidelines, and they're like, what is it? I want to check it out. And so basically, I figured let me do this big video, and now I'm breaking it up into pieces for you. So. You're going to hear a lot of references to things, boards or blogs or links to this or that, and maybe references to products. I have a link page for everything I talk about, so you guys don't have to take notes at all or anything like that. All right, so just click. The link page is included in the description here, as well as a link to the big video if you want to just listen to this thing all the way through. I'm dropping it in like 13 chunks, I think it'll be. So feel free to take a look at that. And one really important thing, guys, is I got a little contest going with Eric Tankar. Whoever gets to 5,000 subs first, the other guy, the other guys got to buy a steak dinner and donate $100 to their favorite charity. So I definitely want to win a steak dinner because I'm doing the Atkins diet, damn it, and I like steak. So anyway, guys, if you could like and subscribe and share it around, I really appreciate it. That would go a long way toward helping me beat them. I would really appreciate that. So without further ado, enjoy the video, guys. All right, guys, so zines. What the hell is a zine? It's a shorthand version of magazine, I guess. It goes back to an old, it's self-publishing, do-it-yourself, DIY. So do you want to make an underground magazine and do it yourself? This is what they were called, zines. A lot of people did it in the metal scene and whatever. I mean, a lot of different scenes back in the day. It's pamphlets. You know what I mean? Back in the day, what you did is you got your typewriter out. You maybe took some, you grabbed some pictures from various things you stole out of magazines or whatever. You taped them in. You photocopied that shit at your mother's workplace or whatever, at your own workplace, and then you would basically put fold the paper in half, put a staple in the middle or two, and you had your own magazine. It was very sort of I don't know, renegade. You know what I mean? It was sort of like a revolt. It was like, fuck you and your glossy ass bullshit. I'm gonna do it my way. I'm gonna get my own damn message out there. I'm gonna do it in the way I want to do it, and I don't need to spend all that money. And neither do people. I'm gonna put out whatever I want to put out, and I'm gonna pass it around for free. And that's what happened. A lot of people just pass that shit around for free. They trade it, And so you go to a show, metal show, Grateful Dead, or whatever. People passing around zines, talking about whatever they want to talk about. It's like having a web page or a blog back in the day, except you had to do the printing, pasting, stapling, copying, all that yourself. So that's sort of the origin of it. Tim Schwartz and I did a long video a while back, months ago, about zines and what they are and styles today. So I've linked that in there. But just at bottom line, there's long story short on that, and it's worth listening to. But what you're going to see when you do is people talking about the various styles of zines nowadays, because with desktop publishing and all that. I mean, with Microsoft Publisher and all the other ones out there, you can basically create Time magazine quality zines. And so there's a huge debate in the zine scene, about, is this really a zine if you're not doing it yourself, and what level does it arise to if you don't? Is it so high production value and everything else that is it really a zine anymore? And Jesus Christ, you're charging $15, $20 for this thing. You're breaking the whole ethos of zines that it should be all free and passing it around. And I get that justifies, you need the price to justify the cost of the publication. But at what point do you just become a fucking magazine? Right? Even though it's solely published by one person or maybe two or whatever, at what point is it just a fucking magazine? And so that's the debate. And so we get into that a little bit in the styles of zines. Now, as the OSR scene kicked right in the 90s, about 2009, a lot of zines started popping up. big one. I think the biggest one at the time was by Christian Walker. He came out with Leviatar and a couple other ones, but I've since went and picked up all the Leviatar zines. Christian was is still with us. He just doesn't kick it around the old school anymore, but he's still an amazingly creative guy. And he just put out these zines, and he was of the old school ethos, He barely priced, just to cover his costs. And if you sent him something of yours, he'd send you something of his. He had that old school ethos going on there. He's a cool dude, surfer guy, musician. That has that whole vibe going on there. So he kept it going. He's kind of a hippie, a modern day hippie. Around the same time, Tim Shorts of Gothridge Manor put out The Manor. And I've linked to his #1 issue in drive-through. You can pick up #1 there and get it printed out. Now, I have all the originals there, and as I famously said to him in one of these videos, Tim, I didn't read them all. I looked at him, skimmed them, like, yeah, that's cool. He's like, you didn't read my shit. No, I didn't read it all, man. I don't read a lot of these. Sometimes I'll buy stuff to support people, just to support people. But I'll dabble a little bit, but I never read them fully. I just take a look and see what's going on. James Radji put out something, Green Double Face. He had a zine and a link to Noble Knight. That's pretty much the only place you could get it now, I believe. There was Knock was like more of a magazine than a zine, I think. Maybe Fight On, I think the same way as well. And they were good, the high production values and all that. A lot of people would write for these things. A lot of old schoolers who were doing blogs would then write for a zine and get published in a zine. All of a sudden, your story's in a zine. So it sort of went against the ethos of this is my personal thing I'm putting out there in the world. It was more magazine level. But one guy who did his own, James Stater, he also made the RPG Blood and Treasure I was talking about before. He wrote the Nod zine, and I have the first 17 on PDF, I believe. At the time, you can only get them on Lulu. I think he's now putting them all out on drive-through. And so I have the link to the first one of Lulu, but check the newer ones on drive-through. All the newer ones are over there. But that guy, he just creates and writes and writes and writes and never stops fucking writing. I don't know how he does it. I can't figure it out. I mean, he must be on speed for the last 25 years. He's just writing nonstop. And they're all creative. They're all excellent. They all give you a lot of information. And I think he put it all into Blood and Treasure and all the other things that he's, used these zines as a basis for. Knockspell was another one. Mythmere Games, Matt Finch put those out, and you could get Knockspell magazine off of his. And one of the newer ones out there that's that you guys that are familiar with, Flint Fireforge. He's in my Monday night game that I'm a co-player with in Tim's Monday night game that he runs for us for Shadow Dark. He has a zine he's putting out there. He's publishing, most of them are right now on Gumroad, which I never heard of until he's telling me about it. And it's called Crit Happens. Get it? Shit happens, crit happens. And it's it's on Gumroad, and I think he just put one on drive-through too. You can pick it up there. So really good stuff. You can check out the old zines and get an idea what they were all about, what we were talking about. It was sort of an adjunct, sort of a publishing thing related to the blogs, but actually in print that's going to last forever. People wanted to put something out there like that's going to be around forever. Maybe, it's in your hand, and this is early days, again, before people were really publishing a lot of modules, adventures. So it was a fun time. It was a fun time. And so if you look at right now, how do you get into zines? The best place to do it. Tim Short started a Facebook group for RPG zines. Since it got so big and he had a lot of time on his hands, so he passed the ownership over to somebody else, and it's still running strong. Thousands of members. Link is in there for that. And not to be overlooked is Zine Quest. Kickstarter knows that there's a market for zines out there, and so I think once a year, maybe twice, they have something called Zine Quest, where you could actually, everybody who wants to publish a zine publishes it at the same time, and they link to the Zine Quest, I guess, overarching umbrella, and so everybody could look at whatever's new for Zine Quest this year and pick up some new zines. A lot of good zines to be found on there. You back some guys, and you'll get it, and it's really fun. It's a good time. It's a good time, guys. So that is the zine scene, all right, in a nutshell. Not too many going on right now and anymore, but the older ones are definitely worth diving into and seeing what they're all about, essentially. So pick those up when you can. And again, links are all in the link page, all right? Next, we're going to talk about conventions, all the old school conventions, all right? So talk to you in a second.